Peter Popoff is the easiest example of con artists deceiving Christians. A man who deceived people into believing they could buy miracle healing from God. He preyed on Christians in desperate situations, claiming that God was instructing him to instruct them to pay amounts of money in what is called obedience and faith in God, and that God would respond with miracles, putting on a public showing of these miracles taking place because they listened to the prophet of God.
You see, it's not the water that releases the power. It's your obedience to the instructions of the prophet of God.
Kathy Rowe and her disabled husband Donald fell for Popoff's pitch.
Surely God would see our pain and bless us.
They borrowed thousands of dollars from relatives, saying they were going to pay their bills, but instead, they sent it to Popoff, $4,500 in all.
I just look back on it and think, I'm a pretty stupid person.
We wanted to ask Popoff a few questions. Reverend Popoff?
Yes.
Matt Mahar with Inside Edition. Could I ask you a few questions about your ministry? Hey, you're squeezing me.
Sorry.
How can you justify taking all of this money from people that are desperate? Can you just answer us one question?
Can you just move away, please?
Would you talk to us later, please?
No.
1 Timothy 6:5, constant friction between people of corrupt mind who have been robbed of the truth, who think that godliness is a means to financial gain. 2 Timothy 3:8, now as Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth, men of corrupt minds reprobate concerning the faith. Verse 9, but they will not get very far because, as in the case of those men, their folly or foolishness will be clear to everyone. And this con artist tactics appear to be clear to most Christians and even unbelievers, and the damage that is done is absolutely destructive and a misrepresentation of God. It destroys the faith of those who approach God only to get scammed by a scammer, leaving people wanting nothing to do with God because of the misrepresentation. And it also puts unbelievers in the place where many already chose to reject God because of their own choice, but now think they have an excuse as so-called proof that God is not real and it's all just a scam or a business, and then becoming even more proud and arrogant that they are smarter than everyone else and not easily deceived, a popular reason of bragging amongst the heathen. And ultimately more people turn away from ever sincerely looking to God because of this misrepresentation. But discussing the deception, Christians saw some results with their own eyes. They saw some power. They saw things. They attributed it to the so-called man of God, put their faith in him and his words, and his so-called miracle water.
Do you need a miracle? Real people with real needs are receiving real life-changing miracles when they use the miracle spring water.
My husband brought the spring water up and I drank it. And I'm speaking today. I had no speech, totally paralyzed, and now I'm testifying.
You had sent me the water and I used it. You told me I was going to get a check for $7,000. Sure enough, I got a check in the mail. It was exactly $7,000.
This faith tool will help you to see liberation from the bondage of debt. It's free. I want to send it to you. No obligation. Call me now.
And when you told me to anoint my checkbook yesterday, I received a letter for over $45,000 that my second mortgage was paid off.
Get the spring water, drink the spring water, or whatever you need to do with it. It really works.
Whatever Pastor Peter Popoff tell you to do that God leads him, obey the prophet and you will prosper.
This man is a prophet of God, and when he tell you something to do, just do it.
Whatever he say, do it.
The tactic is to use the Word of God and the things of God and twist it for their own selfish gain, using faith, using the Word of God, saying to instruct people to listen to God's prophets and they will prosper, and that your obedience to God matters. And while many Christians claim they aren't stupid enough to fall for something like this, they fall for it every day in a different way. Entertainment ministries that are based in worldliness, entertainment, because it gets attention, always discussing worldly things that happen in the world concerning people who hate God and hate the things of God. Why should our eyes be constantly focused on those things? Edification of the things of God is what counts and matters. 1 Timothy 1:4, neither give heed to fables and endless genealogies, which minister questions, rather than godly edifying, which is in faith. So do. In the same verses describing the person who uses his ministry and God for the sake of business, it says they are conceited and understand nothing. They have an unhealthy interest in controversies and arguments about words that result in envy, strife, malicious talk, and evil suspicions. And this is just another form of deception. God never said to use ministry for business, and if you're using ungodly news, ungodly things outside of exposing it, you're scamming people of godly edification. You're not feeding them truth as you should. You're interested in worldly controversies because it gets clicks. You're no different than Peter Popoff. Peter Popoff walked in doctrine contrary to the Word of God. He gets rebuked, and Christians agree. But when somebody speaks out against the teachers of the law that they like, that they've listened to, and point out their error in doctrine, they react the same way those who were scammed by Popoff act. That he is a man of God. Listen to him. Putting their faith in him, the teacher, the man, instead of searching themselves what the Word of God says. Any man can teach wrong doctrine, including myself, but it's your job to study for yourself the Word, ask for wisdom, and with pure motives, seek the truth. Because if you don't, there are wolves at every corner ready to deceive, even the ones you think are of God.